This is a podcast where I see which mascots could beat me up. So I've compiled a list of mascots, food mascots, sports mascots, brand mascots, whatever you want to call them. I've got 25 here. We're just going to go through the whole list one by one. I'll say whether I can beat them up, and even if I can't or I can, I'll say how I think I could do it. So that way you have some kind of strategy. In the event this happens to you, you have someone who is an expert and who could probably help you out there. So most of these, again, I'm probably going to be able to beat. Some of them are pretty small and easy to fight. Some of these are going to be a little more difficult. So I guess we'll just kind of see where it goes, and I will just go along with it and see who I think is going to go where. So we'll start out with some food mascots. I kind of went food, and then did some like sports ones, and then a couple brand mascots just to kind of even it out. So it should be all good to go. 25 again, so it might be kind of long. We'll see how long we take on each one. Number one on the list, the Kool-Aid Man. This one is very weird. It's hard because the Kool-Aid Man, he's known for breaking through walls, which means that by definition or by default, he's got to be very, very strong, which is weird because he's like a glass jar. At least I think he's glass. He's got to be some kind of weird epoxy or some kind of resin, because glass shouldn't be able to go through brick walls as easily as he's able to. He's able to keep that Kool-Aid in him at all times, and it never really breaks or shatters at all. Nothing really spills or drops. The real question here is, what's the part that's sentient? Is it the Kool-Aid or is it the jar? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I feel like I've definitely seen images of the Kool-Aid Man empty, and he still has the face, which would lead me to believe that the jar or the container is sentient, and that's the thing that's alive, while the Kool-Aid itself is maybe like the life force, or is what gives him the energy. Maybe you can call it like his blood. It could be that, or maybe it could be vice versa. Maybe he has that face on there, kind of like Krang, maybe, where he can operate the thing. He has a face to make it look like he's talking, but he's really operated by the liquid. So depending on which one it is, really depends on how we're going to attack this, or how we're going to go after this. So for the Kool-Aid Man, you obviously can't break the glass. He's able to go through walls, so you can't really break the glass. I think the best option for you to do is to try and dump out his Kool-Aid, because if whatever is in there is probably what's giving him the powers, whether that's the sentient part or whether that's the part that gives him the powers. And I think if you get that out of there, he's weak. He's vulnerable. So that's how you beat him. The trick is, though, you can't get too close, because obviously he'll be able to hit you. So I would say maybe get like a long straw and try to suck it out. Drink it, The worst case is if that part's sentient, is just going to blow out of you and you will die instantly. But if it's not sentient and that's just the thing that gives him his source of power, then he's weakened and you get some Kool-Aid. So it's kind of a win-win, I guess, for that situation. Now, in a one-on-one fight, of course, bare knuckle, I would definitely not be able to beat him. If I try to do this draw technique, as long as the Kool-Aid itself is not sentient, I should be able to win. So I think I could probably beat him. I just need a little bit of, kind of like Batman, where I need to get a little bit of an edge on him. Try to beat him at the mind game. Get a little bit ahead of him. So Kool-Aid Man definitely could be beaten. Number 2, Colonel Sanders. This one's pretty easy. Colonel Sanders is really just a regular person. The hard part, I think, is that he's probably going to be greased up. He deals with a lot of fried food. He deals with a lot of chicken. He's probably going to have a lot of grease on his hands. And he could probably use that grease on other parts of his body. So trying to tackle him or trying to do anything like that is going to be hard to do. So I would suggest maybe going just for the quick punches. Go for just punching him. Go for trying to hit him in the face. Just a quick jab. Because any time that you're going to try to grab him, he's probably going to slip out. But it's also good for you, because if he tries to grab you, you can use that grease that he has to kind of oil yourself out of it. So it's kind of a win-win for you. Colonel Sanders should be an easy one to beat. The only thing that is kind of confusing about him, and if this is actually true, technically Colonel Sanders has been played by a lot of different people. But that also could imply the fact that there could be a multiverse of Colonel Sanders. So if there's so many different Colonel Sanders, if that is true, and he brings all of the different Colonel Sanders in there, then you might be screwed. You're going to be outnumbered by a lot. So the main thing is we got to hope that Colonel Sanders isn't a multiverse. Like there's, kind of like Spider-Man, where there's a Spider-Man in each universe. There's not a Colonel Sanders in each universe. Hopefully that's the case, because if that's the case, you should be able to beat him pretty easily. If it is the case, then you're screwed. You're not going to beat him. So Colonel Sanders, again, depending on the situation, single, you can totally beat him. Multiverse Colonel Sanders, all of them together, you're pretty much going to die. You'll become the next chicken pretty much. Number 3, Ronald McDonald. It's hard to want to try to fight him. He seems like a nice guy. I mean, he's got the Ronald McDonald House of Charity. He's got a lot of different things. I think the easiest way to beat him would probably be psychologically. Take his friends, Grimace, Hamburglar, maybe get to them first. Torture him, bring him down, and just break him down mentally. Because he's pretty big, if I'm not mistaken. He's got those big shoes. He could probably take you down pretty easily in hand-to-hand combat. So I would suggest for Ronald McDonald, definitely go for like a mental attack. Try and get him, break him down, make him, just become a shell of a man, or shell of a clown, I guess. And then once he's broken down, he should be an easy target to go after. So I think this should be an easy one. You just got to make sure you play your cards right. Get into his head a little bit. Number 4, the Burger King. This one's a bit weird. So the reason why I say that is because Burger King, his head is really just like it doesn't move. It's almost like it's a helmet. So the real question is what's underneath the helmet, because that's really what's going to affect it. And people might say, oh, it's just a guy with a stupid little helmet on. But think about it. Either he is made of that plastic or whatever it is, or there's something underneath there that's more strong. Burger King is definitely one that I would keep an eye out for. I would definitely take a step back, try and see what he's doing, because if that's just who he is, the Burger King with that stupid little head and the crown, he should be pretty easy to beat. I would say probably just go for the face, maybe try to break it, dent it a little bit. But if there's something underneath that helmet, then we might be in for a scare. And that's what you got to watch out for. Burger King, other than that, should be pretty easy to beat. I think it's totally someone I can beat up real fast. But other than that, I don't think there's really much more to do besides that to Burger King. He should be an easy target to go for. Number 5, the Noid. The Noid, if people don't remember, is an old Domino's mascot. They made a video game about him, I think, or they made a couple, if I'm not mistaken. And he's just like, I don't even know, he's just annoyed. It's kind of hard to explain him. He's kind of more of like a omnipotent being. So this one's definitely one where there's no chance you're going to win. There's no chance in hell you're going to win. The Noid is basically just all-seeing, all-knowing. He knows no bound. He knows no mercy. So that's why you got to stay on his good side. There's no way to beat him. I wouldn't even try. Don't even try to go crush him. Don't try to hit him. Don't even try to verbally or mentally get into his head, because he will flip it on you so fast. If you guys ever watch like those old like Japanese like samurai movies or whatever with the swordsman, I guess it's kind of a trope that they have where they'll like use a sword and then you'll see it like super quick and they put it back in, and all of a sudden like kind of whatever they cut in half like takes like 5 seconds and it finally cuts in half. That's basically what the Noid will do to you. You're like, oh wow, everything's fine. He touches you, and then next thing you know, he's kind of like the fist of the North Star. Omae wa mo shinderu, and then all of a sudden you're dead. That's basically what he does. So I would definitely avoid him at all costs. Be on his good side. Try to be his friend. That's probably the best option. Maybe if he's really angry at you or upset at you, try and reason with him. Try and do whatever you can to save yourself, because again, there's really nothing you can do. So definitely someone that I can't beat up. No one really can. Number 6, the Pillsbury Doughboy. This one should be pretty easy to do. Pillsbury Doughboy, I mean, he's made of dough, so the hard part is that you've got to basically, I think the easiest way to kill him at least is to just throw him in the oven and try to cook him. But the problem with that is that if you're going to try to cook him, you need to throw him into the oven, and you have to preheat the oven. You have to get the pan ready. You've got to make sure everything's ready. So during this time, what could be 5 to 10 minutes where you're trying to preheat the oven to a good temperature to throw him in there, he's going to be chasing you. And the problem is that you can't kill him in his dough form. So you have to like try to run away, try and do whatever you can while he's chasing you, get the pan ready, all that kind of stuff. Because if you try to squish him, he's just going to form back into the doughboy. If you try and cut him, he's just going to push himself back together, or he'll make two doughboys. So you can't really kill him in his dough form. You have to cook him, and then from there you have to eat him, because after so long, he'll still be alive technically, but he will be in cooked form, so he can't really move that much. He's just going to be able to kind of speak and maybe kind of move a little bit, but not have as much range. So that's probably the best option for you. Cook him, but again, you have to run around. He might have a knife, cut him in half, step on him, do whatever you can to try and slow him down. But again, he's just going to form back up and he'll keep chasing you. So you have about 10 minutes, I would say, about 10 minutes before the oven's preheated. So that's how long you got to keep him distracted and keep him at bay. And the other thing is that you have to, when you put him in the oven, you have to hold the oven closed. We have to tie it down somehow, because he will get out. He'll be able to push it open, and if he gets out, then you're screwed even more. He's going to be more pissed than he was before. So definitely be wary of the Pillsbury Doughboy. He should be an easy one to beat. As long as you can run around for 10 minutes and try to distract him, you should be good to go. Definitely one that's easy to beat, and definitely one I can beat as well. Number 7, the M&Ms. This one's hard because there's multiple of them. There's quite a bit. There's a peanut M&M, there's a peanut butter M&M, there's a caramel M&M, there's the regular M&M, there's the hot M&Ms. There's so many different ones that you can choose. The main thing I think is trying to get some of them on your side. What's easy about them is that they're basically cannibals, so they will eat each other if they need to. So if you can try to convince them to join your side so that way they can eat the other ones, I think it'll be fine. But if they're all against you, you're screwed. That's outnumbered. It's going to be hard to beat. You can't eat all that chocolate even if you try it. It's way too much. So trying to get some of them on your side, you should be fine to go. I would definitely try and get the yellow M&M. He's probably the strong one. He's the dumb, strong one, even though he's not dumb. He just plays dumb because he's played by J.K. Simmons. So that's how you know he's not really that dumb. So the yellow one, the red one's kind of the leader. Orange one, I think that's the pretzel one. He's kind of the nerd. The green and brown one, they're the hot ones. And then I think there's a blue one or something, and he might be a peanut butter one. I think there's a peanut butter one. Either that or there's a caramel one. I don't remember. But I would definitely go for the yellow one and maybe the red one, because the yellow one might be able to convince the red one. Or you can do like Civil War in Marvel and have the red one versus the yellow one. It's like Captain America and Iron Man, and then you can choose the side that you think is going to win. So whichever way you'd like to do it. Again, I would try and get some of them on your side to fight the other ones. Maybe offer them, hey, if we beat them, I'll allow you to eat them all. Go ahead and do that. That's fine. Because that's really the only way you can do it. And even then, when they're eating or something like that, that's your perfect opportunity to kill them. If you're trying to get rid of all of them. So M&Ms are kind of more difficult to kill. I would definitely probably lean more towards not being able to beat them for me personally, especially if they're all against me, unless I can, again, convince one of them to join my side, or convince a majority of them to join my side and take them out one by one. That's the best option. Number 8, the Green Giant. This one's going to be kind of hard. I would say definitely not be able to beat him hand to hand. Definitely not be able to beat him mentally. I don't even know if he can even hear me all the way up there. It should be an easy W for the Green Giant. He'll probably just step on me, and that'll be the end of it. However, the best way to probably beat him is maybe do something like Star Wars. Maybe do something like where you kind of set some traps for him. Because if you can get him to fall down, that's all you need to do. Get him to fall down, and you can get him in the eye. You can get him in the brain. Maybe do a little bit of Shadow Colossus, maybe, where you're kind of climbing up on him. He's trying to get you off, hitting those main points until you can get to the top and get that little symbol there, and he should be down for the count. So the sad part is that not a good majority of us can't do that kind of stuff. So most of us will probably be killed by him. Of course, you can try to use weapons. I'm not really trying to use like guns or anything like that. Maybe like a knife or a sword. Maybe set some bear traps, something like that, to where he steps on him, he goes down again, stub his toe, anything like that. So you're going to want to try to get him on the ground, get him down, or you're going to want to try to climb up on top of him, which is arguably harder to do. So traps or climbing up him, those are really the only two options to beat him. You can maybe try bow and arrow to the eye, but again, that's going to be hard to do depending on how tall he is. I'm assuming he kind of ranges in size, so it could be something where the more he eats vegetables, the taller he gets. So if that's the case, then you're definitely going to try to keep vegetables away from him, keep any kind of greens away from him, because the smaller he is, the easier he'll be to beat. So again, I would definitely say no, I can't beat him unless I have some time to repair, get some traps, train, something like that. So Green Giant, that's a no. Number 9, Windy from Wendy's. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's kind of the same thing with Colonel Sanders, where she might be a little harder to try and catch. Again, hand to hand, I think if you just get some quick jabs in there, you should be able to beat her pretty fast. I'm not 100% sure about her martial arts experience or any kind of fighting experience, so I can't really say for sure. But probably some quick jabs. She's probably going to be a little greasy working there, flipping burgers, doing that kind of stuff. So that's going to be a little harder to grab her and take her down. So you're just going to have to try to do punching, punching, punching. But I think you should be able to beat her. Probably about the same as Colonel Sanders. The good thing about her is that we know there's not too many Wendy's, if there are that many in the multiverse. As far as we know, we only know there's like the live action one, the one on the billboard, and there might be a couple others. So if there are multiple of them, it's going to be a lot harder. Same with Colonel Sanders. But if there's only a limited amount, it may be a little easier to try and do. Unlike Colonel Sanders, where there's pretty much one in every universe, there's going to be an unlimited amount. If there's only like 4 or 5 Wendy's, then I would say it's probably going to be a doable task. It's still going to be kind of hard. It'd be the same exact thing if it was Colonel Sanders. If there was only 5 of them, it'd probably be about the same where it's in difficulty. So I would definitely say beatable if it's only one of them. Maybe beatable if there's like a few of them, like maybe up to 5. Anything more than that, you're pretty much gone for it. You're done. So that's going to be Wendy's, or the Wendy's mascot, Wendy. Number 10, Chester Cheetah. This one I think is going to be interesting. He is a cheetah after all, but I think the one advantage that you might have is that he's probably going to have a lot of Cheetos. He may be a little lethargic after only eating Cheetos. But again, he is a cheetah, so he's going to have those teeth, he's going to have those claws, he's probably going to be a little fast. The good thing about cheetahs is that they're only fast for so long. So probably faster than, or longer than you can run or sprint. So you have to consider that. But again, they only do short bursts of energy. So if you can outrun them for about 10 seconds, outsprint them for about 10, 15 seconds, or maybe 20, I don't remember exactly how long they can go, then you should be fine to go, because he's going to be out of breath. He's going to be easy target. Once he's kind of out of breath and done for, boom, opening up, boom, strike him right there, take him down, give him the old neck snap, and Chester Cheetah is done for. However, if he catches you, it's over. He's going to get you on that neck. He's going to get you on that jugular. He's going to tear it out in your windpipe. He's going to crush him. So you will be done for. So just main thing, outrun him, and you should be fine. The other good thing is that he does wear sunglasses. So if you can get him in if you can get him to like a dark alley or something like that, it may be harder for him to see you with the sunglasses on. He might have to take them off. That could be a distraction. That's your time if he's taking them off to get up behind him and boom, whack him in the head. Or same thing if you... Actually, no. So basically, stay out of sunny areas because he's going to have the advantage with sunglasses. If you can get to a dark place where he has to run through, he may not be able to see as well. If he takes off his sunglasses, that's your chance to kind of hide or something like that. Let him waste his energy, let him burn up his speed and everything like that, because once that's over, he's an easy target. He should be easy to either get away from or attack. So just think about that kind of stuff. Keep that in mind. Think of a cheetah, Cheetahs are very beautiful. They're very strong animals, but they have their weaknesses. So Chester would be the same exact way. Other thing you can do is always grab a poison Cheeto maybe and be like, hey, Chester, here's this Cheeto. And, just don't put that it's poison. Don't say anything. I've made that mistake before. So just don't say that it's poison, and you should be good to go. He'll probably eat it and be like, oh, thank you. And then next thing you know, he's foaming at the mouth and he's dead. So think about that. That could always be an option, but that's a little bit harder because you have to gain his trust first. So I guess when we're talking about, in the event of like a street brawl or something like that. So he's definitely a beatable one. I think I could beat him. Not sure if I can outrun him, but I guess the main thing is if I can just wear him out, he should be an easy target. Number 11, Mr. Peanut from Planters. This one should be pretty easy. He is a peanut. He shouldn't be too big. He should be easy to crush. And just kind of get it over with. I think really just crushing him, even just eating him, maybe tearing him in half. The one thing though that you have to worry about is that, hey, remember last year Mr. Peanut died, and then baby Mr. Peanut came in, and so that means that basically he's immortal. If he gets killed, he's gonna come back and he's just gonna be a baby. So no matter what happens, even if you do eat him and you do kill him, he's going to come back and he may seek vengeance on you. So you have to keep an eye out. Once you defeat him the first time, he's going to come back. It may take a year, it may take him a few months to regrow, but he will be back. Another thing you have to worry about there is what if if you do eat him again, he's going to come back, but I don't know if there's a way that he can reproduce, like maybe asexually or what's that way to do it, where they just kind of break off, uh, like cells. They always do it where they just basically make a carbon copy of themselves. I don't know if there's a way that he can plant himself maybe and make more copies of himself, because if that's the case, he can make an army of peanuts, and that would be a huge disadvantage for you. And of course, if you're allergic to peanuts, then it's also going to be hard to beat. So if you're allergic to peanuts, luckily I'm not, so it should be an easy one to beat. Or if you're afraid of a potential peanut uprising, then I would definitely steer clear of Mr. Peanut. But if you're okay, he should be an easy one to kill. Just got to be careful because he will be back probably, unless he completely forgets. He could forget. I'm not 100% sure how it works for the peanut reproduction process. So it's really up to that. I think he's a beatable one. Definitely one that we can just easily eat or crush. Number 12, Chuck E. Cheese. What's his name actually? It's Chuck Entertainment Cheese or something like that. Is his name like Chester? I don't even remember. Either way, he's the original Chester. I think. Why am I saying Chester? The original Chuck E. Cheese. He was pretty big. He was kind of freaky. That one I would definitely not fuck with. I don't think that one you could beat. The new one, he's more of a mouse size. I think that one's a little easier to work with. If you're dealing with the new Chuck E. Cheese, the new mascot that they have, definitely easy target. Just crush them. Get a little mouse trap, get a little rat cheese, something like that to poison them, and you should be fine. If you're dealing with the old one, that one was human sized. He was huge, so trying to fight a big mouse like that, I don't think you're gonna win. They're incredible. They're incredibly strong. They're incredibly versatile. They can jump. They can do all sorts of things as mice when they're that small. If you put that in human size, those teeth and everything, it's pretty much a no go for you. So if you're fighting old Chuck E. Cheese, you can beat them easy. No, you can't beat them. It's going to be a hard fought battle. If you're fighting the new Chuck E. Cheese, easy W. Just get on with your day after you kill them. Go have a nice slice of pizza and you'll be fine. All right, so now we're kind of into some sports mascots. So number 13, Woo Shock from Wichita State University. He is a what is their? They're the Shockers, I believe. So he's basically lightning, if I'm not mistaken, or is he barley? Is he wheat? I'm trying to remember what he is. He's like a wheat, if I'm not mistaken, but he's got electrical powers maybe. So if he has those electrical powers, like if I remember correctly, then it's pretty much over. I mean, he can just shock you. It should be an easy W for him. If he is just sweet, if I remember, I mean, honestly, I'm not using pictures or anything right now. On the video, I'm sure I'll use some pictures, so you'll be able to see what it looks like. But I'm not really doing any pictures for him. So if I'm not mistaken, he is a wheat or something like that. So if he's just a wheat, easy W, just knock him over. Should be an easy win for you. So Woo Shock, I can definitely beat him. Number 14, the Fanatic from Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Phillies. This is one of the more famous mascots. I mean, I think he's pretty great. He's a pretty funny guy. Not really 100% sure what he is exactly. He's just the Fanatic. He can do that whole thing with, I believe it's his tongue where he kind of just blows it out. So that's a bit scary. He doesn't really have any emotions. He seems like a very strong mascot. So this is one that I would definitely avoid. I'm sure he'd probably beat you very easily. The good thing is that he's friendly. So he might be able to just be a friend with him and not have to actually fight him at all. But of course, worst case, you have to fight him. I would probably go for the legs. If you can knock him over, get him on his side. He's got a round, like midsection. So if he gets on his side, it might be hard for him to kind of get up. And that's when your opportunity to strike should be. So he's definitely one that's going to be hard to beat because it's also hard to get to his legs. He probably won't allow you to get that close. So you got to be very, very careful. Watch out for that tongue. His eyes are pretty big, so he should be able to see you anywhere. You're going to try to probably have to get behind him and try and attack him from there. So definitely one you can beat. It just takes a little bit of time. You've got to make sure you get behind him. That's the best advantage you could probably get in that state. Number 15, Purdue Pete. Of course, this is from Purdue. That's pretty obvious. It's in his name. Now, he's basically just a giant, giant person. Now, he's not like a huge person, but he's just a mascot person. So he's pretty big. But the main disadvantage that you have against him is that he has a mallet. He carries around a giant mallet. So you've got to be careful for that mallet. If he gets you there, one swipe, you're dead. He'll break something. He'll break a leg. He'll break an arm. You're out for the count. You can't hit him or kick him or anything like that. And then he will just go over the top right on your head. You're dead. So the mallet's going to be a disadvantage. I would say his mobility is probably going to be the thing you want to go for the most. Kind of same with the Philly Fanatic, except he's a little more thin. So even if you knock him over, he'll probably be able to get back up pretty easily. So I think the main thing is moving around really fastly, trying to get him to look around, kind of distract him a little bit. If he's kind of turning around all the time, trying to swing at you, it may be a little easier for you to avoid it. Just watch out for maybe like a backswing or something like that. And then I would say trying to get on top of him. If you can get that mallet away from him, he should be an easy one to beat, especially if you can get it yourself. Easy clap for you. Definitely one that is going to be harder to beat, but it is beatable. Kind of same with the Philly Fanatic. He's probably going to be stronger. He's going to have more energy probably than the Philly Fanatic will. So you have to kind of go for him a little bit longer. Kind of like Muhammad Ali, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. You got to float around, make him wear himself out. That's probably the best option for you. But definitely one that it can be beat. Number 16, Billy from the Miami Marlins. This is just a straight up Marlin. So the disadvantage is he's got that sword. I mean, he's got that nose there. So if he can pin you, if he gets you with that, you're dead. He'll probably run at you full force. Marlins and sailfish, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if they're the exact same thing, but they are known to be very, very fast. So he's going to be fast. You have to be careful with that because he will come at you full speed with that sword nose, and you have to get out of the way just in time. The thing about mascots, and I'm kind of just like talking about this real quick. The thing about mascots is they're basically like boss fights. They only have so many move sets. You just got to memorize them, and you should be able to beat them. So with him, the best option for you is he's going to come at you super fast, and I mean really, really fast. He's going to come at you full force with that nose. You have to get out of the way. You got to get out of the way. If you can get out of the way, the best option, if you're on a baseball field, I would try to get him stuck into the siding of the wall. He gets stuck in there. He's going to take a second to get out. That's when you go behind him. Bam, you hit him. Okay? Try to get a weapon if you can, like a baseball bat or something like that. You hit him real quick, kind of go back. Let him keep going at you like that. Try to get him stuck into a wall, or even just if you turn around and go to the side, boom, you hit him from the back or something like that real quick. I would try to keep it to one hit until you maybe get him a little bit dazed, and that's when you go for the final blows and try to take him out for the permanently. Again, Marlins, those kind of things, they're fast. They're very, very strong. They're really, really big. So you have to be wary of that. But again, like a video game boss fight, if you can get them kind of stuck into the padding of the baseball field or get them stuck into something like a tree or somewhere, you should be good to go. That should give you some time to get a couple hits in until he gets out, and just keep doing that. So it's going to be a long one. You might need to take a break or something like that. I mean, of course you can't, but you're probably going to want to take a break. You just can't take one. It's going to be one you're going to have to wear him out slowly but surely. But he's definitely beatable. Number 17, the Coyote from the San Antonio Spurs. Now, of course, I'm a little bit biased because I'm from San Antonio. Of course, the Coyote, he's been a staple. He's the Bat Coyote. He's caught bats before. He's done a lot of cool things. But he is a freak of nature. Coyotes themselves are hunting. I mean, they can hunt. I mean, they're really scavengers more than anything, if I'm not mistaken. But they're still basically wild dogs. They're basically small wolves, I guess if you want to say. They will attack you. They've got razor sharp teeth, razor sharp claws. Thing about the coyote though too is that he has eyes that'll come off. So you got to be careful of that. If his eyes can come back to him, kind of like Iron Man's armor, I guess, in Iron Man 3 or whatever, then you've got a problem, because he can basically, if he can do that, then he'll be able to kind of throw his eyes up look around and try and spot you. If you're trying to hide or something like that from him, he'll be able to see and he'll know exactly where you are, kind of like a drone, if you want to say. And then it'll come back to him and he'll be able to attack you. So you got to be careful of that. What's good is that the coyote seems like a nice guy, but again, he's gonna have those razor sharp teeth. He's gonna have those claws. He does have a big head, so I would say kind of the same idea that you had with Purdue Pete. Try and run around him. Try and get around him. Try and use his mobility against him. He's not going to be as fast, but he's going to be strong. If he can get you even just a little hit, you're going to be done for. So you got to avoid him. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Same exact idea of Purdue Pete. But luckily, he doesn't have a mallet or anything like that. All he has is his claws and his teeth. So you got to also watch out if he tries to go in for like a bite. Because if he goes in for a bite, you've got to make sure you avoid that at all costs. Because if he can get you, it's over. So definitely a beatable mascot. He's a little bit bigger than I think Purdue Pete, so just be wary of that. But you know, a Roadrunner's beaten the Coyote for so long, so he should be pretty easy one to beat. Number 18, Gritty, from the Philadelphia Flyers. Gritty is a freak of nature. Seems like a very nice guy. Seems very cool, but he's just not very fun to look at. He's definitely kind of like, for some reason, Philadelphia has these weird mascots, and I have no idea why. I couldn't tell you why, even if I wanted to. But Gritty's definitely one of them. He seems like a very genuine mascot. He seems very nice, but he looks like a monster. Um, Luckily, he's not like the noise from earlier where he's omnipotent, but he is very highly up there. He is considered a demigod as far as the mascots are concerned. So this is definitely one you're not going to be able to beat. Because even the demigods are very, very strong. Some of them are even stronger than the gods. So you have to be wary of that. If you get into a fight with Gritty, it's over. So try and stay on his good side. That's literally the only option you have there. Number 19, Kingsley from the Partick Thistle Football Club. Kingsley is hard to describe. If I'm not mistaken, he kind of looks like a sun. So if you're fighting the sun, you're done. There's no way you're going to win. If you're gonna fight Kingsley, if he's basically like the sun, if I'm not mistaken, he kind of looks like it. You're not gonna beat him. It's pretty much over. I would just give up right there. Number 20, Mr. Met, the New York Mets mascot. He's just a giant. He's basically just a giant ball on top of a human body. So which basically means he can't die. So even if you cut off his head, he's still gonna be a ball. He'll still be alive. So he's basically immortal. I'm not 100% sure what his weakness would be. So if you can find his weakness, he's easy to beat. But the problem is that you don't know his weakness right now. None of us do. So there's really no way to beat him right now. So unfortunately, this is one that we can't beat, no matter how hard we try, unless we can find what his weakness is. It could be. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I can't think of anything. It could be. Could be the Yankees, maybe. Maybe if you wear some pinstripes, maybe he's afraid of you. But I think the Mets wear some pinstripes sometimes. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to think about. So Mr. Met, I would just try to avoid as well. Same exact thing as the other two, Kingsley and Gritty. Number 21, Slugger from the Kansas City Royals. He is just a giant lion, so pretty much you're going to lose. What's good is that he's not like a lioness. He is just a male lion, but doesn't mean that he's not strong. The lionesses, of course, are known for their hunting and everything like that, but the male lions are still very strong. They got razor sharp teeth. They've got razor sharp claws. Kind of a similar thing to the coyote, except the lion's probably going to be a little faster, a little harder to beat than a coyote would be. The other thing that he does have is he has a crown on top of his head, but I think it's attached to him. So if you can somehow get that off, I'm sure that would pretty much be the end of him. If it's attached, he's going to bleed out because of that. And if not, then if you get that away from him, I think that means that you're the king, so you can just have him executed publicly or something like that. Number 22, the King Cake Baby from the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, I don't think this is 100% the like mascot of the New Orleans Pelicans. But it is a mascot that they have. It's for King Cake, of course, and it's just a giant baby. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Babies are probably the worst thing ever. They're super annoying, and they don't deserve to have all the things that they have, and they don't deserve to be able to get away with the things they can get away with. So already I'm going to be annoyed fighting this baby. Now the problem is that he's basically I think a 7 foot tall baby. So he's basically going to be kind of all fat. He's going to be very, very soft, which may be hard for you to beat because if you try to punch him, you're not really going to have any effect on him because he's going to be soft. Um, Now, I think the good thing is that the king cake baby looks a bit harder. So I guess the easiest thing to do, maybe trying to push him over. He may not be able to get back up. His arms may be a little too weak. He may not be able to roll over. So I would definitely try and push him down, face down, or on his back, and you might be able to beat him there. Of course, he's going to try to cry. He's a baby. So maybe just bash his skull in, and he should be good to go. So he's definitely one that you can beat. Just a bit of a weird one, I guess, to try and touch. I don't really want to get near him at all, but if it's for the sake of winning, I will do it. So now we're going to talk. There's only a couple like brand ones that I could really think of off the top of my head for some reason. So we're just going to go through these real quick. These are the last three. Number 23, the Charmin Bears. They're bears, so I don't think you're going to beat them at all. So good luck with that. Number 24, the Keebler Elves. This one should be, well, this one's kind of interesting because I know we've talked about how, having a multiverse, having a bunch of different ones is going to make it a little difficult, but they're elves. So there's going to be thousands of them probably, but they may be easier to beat. I think the easiest way, of course, to beat them is just to poison their chocolate supply because they seem to eat that as well. So if you can poison that, I think you'll be fine. If they eat it, they'll start dying. You'll weaken them a little bit, and then you attack them. Maybe go in there and burn down their house. Again, it's one of those things where it may seem a little immoral, but if you're really in a fight with them, you got to do what you got to do to win. Play the long game. If you know you're going to get into that fight, or if you know you're in that war with them, poison their stuff, set fire to stuff. Just try and get them off their game and weaken their numbers because, again, they're going to have thousands of elves. So if you can bring it down to only a few hundred of elves, it's going to be a little easier for you to beat hand to hand or by yourself. So definitely worry about that first. But other than that, I think the Keebler Elves are definitely something you can beat. They also seem to be very weak, so they don't seem to have a lot of like military, anything like that should be able to protect them. They might have weapons, so you got to be aware of those weapons. But again, they're probably going to be small weapons, so they shouldn't do too much damage. So just be aware of those weapons. They could have like a trebuchet or something like that to throw stuff at you. If they have a big trebuchet, they can throw full-size rocks at you, so you have to watch out for that. But other than that, I think the Keebler Elves might be the easier ones to do. And number 25, this is the final one. This is the last one. I don't know why I thought of this, but this is definitely one that is kind of coming out of nowhere. It's the Puppy Monkey Baby from the Mountain Dew commercial, Puppy Monkey Baby. And if you don't remember, Puppy Monkey Baby. Puppy Monkey Baby. And it's just a puppy, a monkey, and a baby. I think it's a pug, and then I think probably a capuchin monkey with a baby legs. This is basically indestructible. I mean, it's already a crime against God that all these three animals are mixed together. So you're already dealing with something that is beyond God. So your best option is he's going to come in with a bunch of Mountain Dew kickstarts, it sounds like, in his little rattle that he has. That rattle, if you can get that away from him, that might be a good source of power. We talked about how some mascots could have power sources, like the Kool-Aid Man could be his Kool-Aid, that could be his power source. The kickstarts could be his power source, or the rattle could be his power source, or none of them could be his power source, and he is just an omnipotent, godly being that actually transcends God because he is three different animals. Technically, one's a baby, I guess, but whatever. It's an animal still, mixed together. So it's going to be hard to beat this one. I think the best option for you is if you can get like a baby monkey puppy or something like that and have them fight each other because they are known natural enemies. And they will fight each other to the death. So the problem is that you want to try to, if you can get a baby monkey puppy to fight the puppy monkey baby, good for you. You're good to go. You're not having to fight him. But the problem is that if one of them survives, they will go after you. So you have to make sure that they both kill each other until they're dead. Otherwise, you are screwed because they'll still be alive and they will just keep going and going and going and killing and slaughtering villages and all that kind of stuff. So Puppy Monkey Baby is a hard one to beat. You have to have a baby monkey puppy pretty much to beat it. You can try and accept the Puppy Monkey Baby's gifts, but if you do, he might not leave. So it's kind of like a vampire. If you invite him in and you take his stuff, he will stay forever maybe. Now maybe there's a chance he might walk away. You just got to kind of hope that he does. And if you do refuse, though, he will kill you. So you have to take his offer. Unless you had that baby monkey puppy, you pull that sucker out, that puppy monkey baby is going to go in there, and no matter what it's doing, it will just turn around and start fighting that thing because, again, they're natural born enemies. So there's really no way to beat them unless you had that baby monkey puppy. So that's your only option there. All right, so that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. I guess you can kind of say that got into my mind a little bit. You can see how I think. Most of these mascots, again, I think are beatable. There's a few that are basically gods, and you can't really beat them. There's a couple that have if you want to call some, what are they called? Factors that are going to play into effect if this is how it works or if this is how it worked, that can really change the game there. So these mascots are definitely some that I think most people know, most people can get up behind. Yeah, I hope this can come in handy one day. I'm sure someone who might be listening, may have an altercation with one of these mascots. Hopefully you don't. But if you do, you maybe have a better understanding of how you can try to take them down or beat them. So that's going to do it, of course, for this episode. Thank you for listening. Keep leaving your suggestions at the Instagram at this_is_a_podcast, at b_skills247 on Instagram as well, at Brian Skilling on Twitter, and now on YouTube. I gotta find the link, but when I post this, I will put the YouTube link and that kind of stuff to the channel. So we will see how this works. We'll see how this goes, and we're gonna listen to "Broke" by Sam Henshaw this week. I love this man. He's awesome. He deserves a lot more love. I think, in my opinion, he's got some really great songs, and this is just one of them that I really love. "Broke" by Sam Henshaw.